Hey, how you doing today? I am Tequila Coleman. In today's video, I'm going to share a dream I had this morning, and we're going to talk about how to recognize a witch, okay? So out of all the things for me to do today on my birthday, I'm sitting here looking up, watching videos on how to recognize a witch because it all started with the dream I had. So let me tell you about the dream I had this morning. So my alarm clock, it usually goes off at 7 o'clock in the morning, but I woke up around 6:30, ish. And that was because I became aware of what was going on in my dream. So there was someone from my past. It was a male. I don't believe it was really him. I believe it was a masquerading spirit trying to masquerade itself as him, trying to get me to believe what was coming out of his mouth, right? And so this particular spirit who was showing up as the person I knew in the past, it was like we were at a house. I think we were at a house, but it was almost, I want to say it was like a bar setting. You know how sometimes in your basement you might have a bar down there. But he was behind, the bar serving the drinks, right? And I don't drink. And he before he gave me, no, I think it happened at the same time. He handed me a drink. He handed me a cup that had two cups inside of it, right? And whatever he poured into the cup, it was like I seen smoke coming out of it, right? And it was so weird. And I remember in the dream, I started drinking, okay, whatever it was that was in this cup. And I do remember as I was drinking whatever it was, that's what kept standing out to me. And I remember I wasn't fully aware in the dream, okay? But I remember holding the cup in my hand, wondering what is the smoke coming out of this cup, right? And while I'm drinking whatever he gave me in this cup, the man, the masquerading spirit, he's saying to me how he want to hook me up with one of his friends, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I'm saying this to him, and he's telling me about the guy he want to hook me up with, and he was trying his best to convince me of how this person he had in mind for me that he was trying to match me with was a great person. He was a great man. He was speaking highly of this individual. And I remember waking up. Okay. And when I woke up, I said, I was so sleepy. I was so tired. I woke up and I said, that was witchcraft. I said, I don't know what I was drinking. And the smoke coming out of the cup, I was like, it had two cups in there. I said, but that was witchcraft. And I remember because I was so tired to where I whispered to God, I rebuked and bind, reject whatever it was I was drinking in that cup. I come out of agreement with. I was whispering it because I was just too tired to just get all the way up. And then I also rejected the masquerading spirit, the guy, who I knew from the past. I said I rebuked that masquerading spirit trying to match me with someone else. So I just woke up, told God I come out of agreement with that. I reject, all trying to match me up with someone else. And I made a mental note. I said, when I take my children to school, because I said, I'm gonna go right back through this prayer and I'm gonna say it out loud verbally with more authority. Cause I would just really, I just whispered that, while I was still laying down in the bed. So this is how all of this started, right? Because I couldn't go back to sleep. I had actually got upset. Okay. After I kept replaying the dream in my mind, and I said, you know what? I say these little baby witches, they at it again. They sit up here sending these spirits my way, trying to match me with someone else. So that tells me right there, they tampering. They trying to, they're trying to, cook something up, and God making me aware of it in my dream. And so that led me to, because I began that, sometimes I talk to God in my mind. I don't say it out loud, but I was saying in my mind, how do you identify a witch? How do I recognize a witch, God? And he was like, you start with your family. That's what I heard in my spirit. You can start with your family. And I was like, you're right. Right, you know, and so I began to identify 4 witches in my family. Okay, and just by me identifying these 4 witches, this is how it all started. Okay, I just started writing down. Okay, the 4 people, and I noticed something. Okay, because all 4 of these witches, right, and they women, they all had the same things in common. So here's what I discovered. Okay, here's how you can recognize a witch, right? Um, so number one, it's not even in no order. Okay, I don't even have numbers, but this is what I discovered. Okay, of course, they control it and manipulate. Operating control and manipulation, right? But they also, I noticed they have that Jezebel spirit on them. If it's not Jezebel, it's also Delilah, right? Delilah was she's a witch. Okay, witches try to get close to you to learn information about you. They try to discover your weaknesses so that they can take you out. Okay, they know exactly how to target you, right? And so I noticed just from writing down the 4 witches I identified in my family, they all had the Jezebel spirit. They all showed, I would label them as narcissistic women, right? But what it really is, is the Jezebel spirit, okay? And 3 of them, yeah, 3 of them are with Ahab's, right? Ahab tolerate Jezebel. That's how you know. When you identify Jezebel, you're gonna see Jezebel with an Ahab. Ahab tolerate Jezebel. You will see Delilah, that Delilah spirit with a Samson, who it just telling them their weaknesses, right? And Ahab sometimes, will tell their weaknesses to Jezebel as well. Okay, and so I was like, wow, this is so good, God. I get interested in this type of stuff, not for me to do it, but I get interested. I love to learn. And so I was like, this stuff been around me all my life, and I never even picked up on it. The word highlight, they put a lot of emphasis on narcissistic, right? And this is why, see, we gotta be careful and aware of the devil's schemes, tricks, and tactics, because the world put a lot of emphasis on narcissistic when really these are witches, okay? These are Jezebel spears. These are Delilah spears, okay, in operation through these, narcissistic individuals, okay? But, and I also noticed too, with all 4 of these witches that I identified in my family, that in their own little way, they had their own occult, okay? Something, when I say that word, it sounds like I'm not pronouncing it right. But and with the occult, it could show up differently, right? Because witches go to church, you know, and they have formed their own little occult, because it could be a group of people, and all of these people are looking to this one particular person, for all the answer. They, before they go to God, they go to that person, and that person is the one who is running everything. That person is the one who is controlling and manipulating people. They are up under oppression, things of that nature, right? They got that seducing spirit on them. And I was just like, this was blowing me away, as I'm up at 6:30 in the morning writing this stuff down, okay? And so I was like, wow, okay. And I also noticed that um two other witches I identified in my family, they can't keep a man. And I also noticed too, you're dealing with a witch. You are around a witch, because if she have children, her children have either passed away, they are either on drugs, or they struggling with some type of addiction, or they might be in jail. Okay, you are around a witch. You're dealing with a witch because they love to talk to the dead. Okay, so I would just this stuff is just blowing my mind. And in witches, they have that they lead with that intimidation spirit. They have snake ways, okay? So they will behave like a snake. All right. They're very jealous, envious, okay? Witches can identify prophets, And this is why Jezebel tried to take out, did, Jezebel took out some of God's prophets, and that's why Jezebel go after, God's prophets. Okay. So it's like they got that spirit of murder in operation in them. But and here's the other thing too. I mean, this was I was just blown away because witches, they don't look like witches. They look like your mother. They look like your sister. They look like your friend. They look like your aunties and your cousins, right? Witches can be bought. They will bow down to money. They sure will. You give them some money, they will bow to it. They can be bought. And witches, they classy. They dress nice. They into fashion. They love that attention and fame. Witches are in the church. They might disguise themselves as prophetess, ministers. Okay, come on now. They might be in some type of leadership role in the church. Okay, while you asking them to pray for you, they praying on you. All right, that's why you got to be careful who you are allowing yourself to be around. Okay, but I was just, I was blown away, just with how God, he was just like, you can start with your family. You want to identify which, start with your family, and he was right, and I knew of two witches in my family, but as I began to write this stuff down, I identified two more, and I was like, wow, okay. And I remember last year, I was around this one particular lady, and I believe this is when God began to he just began to allow me to, like, I think he opened up my spiritual eyes, because as I was talking to this one lady, her face turned into a witch, like a witch face. I saw it on her face, and I didn't budge. It didn't scare me, and I was just like, okay, I see what you're showing me, God, and I kept it to myself, and that same lady tried to get real close to me. She wanted to know all my information, but I hurry up and broke away from her because I remember what God showed me, So here's the thing. For those of you who were raised by narcissistic mothers, and if you are a prophet, okay, I'm just going to target this strictly for profit. If you know that you are a prophet and you were raised by narcissistic mothers, this is why your mother always mistreated you. This is why, she act like she hated you. She targeted you and singled you out and made you the scapegoat. This is why, because your mother could be a full-blown witch, okay, who probably was, binding up your life, since birth. You never know. This is why she made you the scapegoat. And if you got siblings, it made them the golden child, okay, because of who you are. See, witches know who we are before we even know who we are, okay? And this is also why, narcissistic mothers are very jealous of their daughters. This is why they compete with their daughters. They would even stab their daughters in the back trying to sleep with their daughters, husbands or boyfriends, so if this is something you dealt with, you still like dealing with this mother wound, well, you might want to begin to, just begin to learn, about, come away from learning about narcissistic, because that's what the world focuses more on, but learn about witches, how to identify, how to recognize a witch, begin to identify witchcraft attacks, okay? Because I'm telling you, once I began to sit down and make this whole list and write out, and I began to see the similarities, I was like, wow, I've been around this stuff all my life. This is why my life been hard, okay? Since birth. This is why. Okay, they've been doing this stuff on me since birth. Trying to, cursing my life, sabotaging me, sending sickness my way, trying to take me out since birth, because I'm a prophet, right? And remember, witches, that Jezebel spirit is operating through witches, okay? And Jezebel, she linked up with Ahab. She looked for Ahabs, right? And Ahabs are the ones who tolerate Jezebel. That's why, I'm not even going to say that, but yeah, so just start educating yourself a little bit more on how to recognize a witch, come away from a lot of us do a lot of study on narcissistic personality disorder. You need to look at the spirit behind that narcissistic personality disorder. Okay. So I just wanted to share that, I was like, I say out of all the things to do today on my birthday, I'm sitting here watching videos on how to recognize a witch, but it was very interesting to me because like I said, after I woke up from that dream, number one, I said they added again. Okay. And then number two, I said, I'm tired of these little baby witches not messing with me, even though they're going to always mess with me for the rest of my life. Okay. But, I was like, God, I want to learn all I can about this so that whatever they send my way, it don't even touch me. Okay. That's where I'm at. And God know how I am. He know how I am. I be ready to go to war. So I just wanted to share that in today's video. I am Tequila Coleman. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. For those who sold into God Ordained Marriage Ministry and sold it to, gave me a seed for my birthday. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you to my Facebook community. Y'all all made me just feel so loved today. I love every one of you. I just, y'all really touched my heart today. I thank everyone. I wish, you all blessings, I want to see everyone walking into their God ordained love story. And it won't be long now. Okay. The thing is coming around full circle. So that is it. I am Tequila Coleman. I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.